All right, we have our ring out of the pickle, and it's beautiful. Now what we need to do is we need to round it up. Now, as I said earlier, my ring mandrel is a little bit of a square shape. It's a square, but it's got rounded corners, but that's going to work fine. Now, one thing we do need to do, I'm going to turn it up here, and I'm going to rest it. I have this, which is very, very nice because it sits right where I need it to with that little drop so that I can texture the places that were not textured earlier. Now, I'm not going to hit right on that seam. I'm going to hit right to each side. And I'm just barely texturing. Now, I'm going to put it on, and it fits. That's good. That's always a good thing when the ring fits. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work on rounding it up, and I'm going to do that with my leather mallet because now that I have my texture, I don't want to deform that. Now, with a rounded one, I would just simply take and I would tap it down until it got rounded. Then I would pull it off, turn it around, and round the other side. Because this is conical, we do not want one to be bigger or out of whack than the other. So you're going to want to do that. Now you're going to want to be mindful that you're not putting it too big, because if you slide it down too far, it'll be too big. So you need to be mindful of that as you're doing it. Now, like I said, this ring mandrel doesn't have size increments, but if it did, I would be watching, and I would want my size. So I'm 7 1/4. So I would want to make sure this center of the ring was at 7 1/4. That is a question that's asked a lot. Where do I put the size? Well, you want the size to be in the very, very center. So what you would do is you would continue to hammer this down on your mandrel until, and of course, once you pass that line and once it's underneath here, it's going to be a little bit hard to see. One thing you can do is you can line your ring up on the outside, and you can line it up at that 7 1/4, and you can see where it comes to at this edge. So if this is 7 1/4, this could be 7 3/4. So then you know if you get this outer edge to 7 3/4, and I'm just using numbers just for an example, but you need to look at your ring mandrel because your ring may be a different width or whatever, but you would line it up on the outside with that size, the correct size in the center, and see where this outer edge winds up. And then that outer edge would be where you would want to hammer it down to. Now, you can hammer it like this, around and around. And anyway, get your ring rounded up and down on the size that you need to get it rounded to, and we'll be right back.